Welcome to the Emotional Fitness Channel. I'm Marianne Kizell, and today we're going to be talking all about how to let go of that really unhealthy relationship, that toxic relationship with your partner when you've got a child or children involved. Now, here's the thing. The most common thing that I hear is the disappointment about, but that was my fairy tale, and I got pregnant and I had these children, and now I realized, oh my God, it's nothing like I expected. And so this little girl inside that has this fairy tale, it's been destroyed. And a lot of women, you may be one of these women that have tried to convince yourself when you're trying to leave this toxic relationship, marriage or partnership, when you've got a child, that your mind goes back to those moments of the breadcrumbs of happiness that you were offered. You know, that time that he made a beautiful connection with your son or your daughter, or it just made your heart melt. Or that time that he did show up and he treated me really nice and took me out to dinner that time. Or the fact that you don't want to be alone. Or the fact that you don't want to be a solo mother. Or the fact that you don't want to have that shame and be one of them, that their relationship didn't work out. But just notice for a moment, all of those reasons have nothing to do with creating a loving, healthy relationship. You see, here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, and it took me years to nail this one. We can't have a healthy relationship with someone if we don't have a healthy relationship with someone. This someone. Because otherwise we go into a relationship with these filters of, I'm not enough. If you grew up in any sort of childhood trauma, if you had brothers, sisters, siblings, mother, father that put you down, made you feel that you weren't enough, rejected you constantly, neglected you, told you that you were ugly, any time in your childhood you didn't feel liked, wanted, or loved, you can't have a healthy relationship unless you clean it up. Now, if your partner came from an unhealthy environment like that, and there was alcohol, drugs, jail, anything like that involved, you can't have a healthy, loving relationship, because the person you're trying to have one with has all these filters of, I'm not enough. And you can't fix it. The only person you have to fix is yourself. And here's a really valuable thing to understand. When children are involved, would your child or children look up to you with great respect if you stayed in a toxic relationship because you thought you wanted to somehow keep the family unit together? Or would they be really championing you to go out into the world and create a great life? Would you be showing them that happiness is possible? And what if you chose to heal your hurts, heal your past hurts and wounds, build your self-esteem to thoroughly believe in yourself, to be able to create a successful outcome? Would you be teaching them that they too can have a healthy relationship? And ask yourself, what is happening to my child's nervous system every time they hear the shouting or feel my husband or my partner ignoring me? How do they feel? Their nervous system is all they have, because their intelligence or their brain hasn't developed enough to work it out that, well, my mother's got unhealthy self-esteem, or my father came from trauma, so that's why he's been a prick. They can't work it out. They can only feel it. And then it goes into their emotional bank that they're not good enough. So I really, really encourage you, so the more we unpack this stuff, the more you can take your power back. But here's what you need to do. You need to first fight for your child. You need to take command of your situation and get out and move away, and don't go back and say you're done for your child or for your children first and foremost. If you can't do it for yourself, what's it going to take? A lot of people who have domestic violence, whether it be mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual, if they're breaking your spirit down every day, that's spiritual abuse. If they're physically bashing you, if they're throwing you around, if they are putting you down, this is all domestic violence. This is all abuse. And so what's it going to take for them to physically smash over your own child before you leave? Before you say, no, I'm not going to have it anymore? Because that's what it generally takes for a lot of women. But here's what you can do, darling. You can decide that you want to have a loving relationship. Now, there's a part of you that won't even believe that you can right now. And that's not what you should be focusing on. It should be focusing on, I deserve. So we've got to re-script and reformat your emotional bank, because your emotional bank is telling your brain, I don't deserve to be loved. I don't deserve to be wanted. I don't deserve to be liked. I don't deserve to be loved because of what happened in your past. Now, you may not remember what happened, but you are definitely suffering from some sort of childhood trauma if you are in a relationship that's treating you this way, because there's a delusion there that thinks that that's what love looks like. And love does not look like that. It really doesn't. And no matter how much you're loving your child and trying to protect them, they're still feeling this stuff, and they are working out some part of their brain is not developing to the full potential of love and abundance and encouragement and worthiness, just like yours didn't, because they're in this environment, because the environment will dictate how that person's self-esteem is when they grow up, just like yours dictated to you. So I want you to be really considerate about these feelings. And it's a hard thing to hear. It's a hard thing to swallow. If you know, when we were little, if our mothers had really high self-esteem, when the father cheated, they would have been out of there. If the mother had really healthy self-esteem, when he didn't bring home the bacon or he came home drunk and abused her, we would be a lot healthier. But back then, they didn't have therapists, tools and techniques and coaches online. They didn't even have a technology age where this is speaking to you right now. It was so much shame to have that happen. They lived in silence, just like their parents' parents did. And so there's no excuses in today's modern age for us not to actually ask and reach out for support, no matter how painful it is. You deserve better. And so we need to rebuild this emotional bank. But first, we've got to find out, what are these limiting beliefs that keep you staying there and thinking you're not worth something better? And so down below, I've got, if you click on the drop-down link in the description below, you will see a free belief profile. Click on that link and check it out, fill it out in your own time, take your time. And another thing that you can do straight away is ring a friend, ask for support on a daily basis until you can get through this. Ask when you have those weak moments when you want to go back, is it okay if I give you a call? Have an agreement with your therapist or coach that you can reach out and have like 2 emails a week of more encouragement. Ask for what you need. And things will change. I promise you this. If I can get through that sort of abuse in relationships, so can you. You can recover because you are good enough. You always have been. You just took on your parents' story or your brother's story or your sister's story or somebody's story, but it wasn't yours. And we can rebuild our self-esteem, and you can create the love you deserve. But first, it starts with this relationship here. Don't go looking for another relationship if you're feeling broken to try and pick yourself up. You'll just be purging more of your stuff and create the same or similar scenario. Unless you have that 1% you get really lucky. So, stop fooling yourself. Fight for yourself. I guess that's the real message. It is hard to hear, but here's another thing I want you to consider. When you look at this relationship that you're in or trying to get away from or wanting to let go of, what standard is that relationship speaking to you about? What's your standard? Does that show you your standard? Because we need to lift your standard. Show your children you have a better standard, that they too should have a higher standard. But you have to lead by example. And there's another video here about how to create healthy boundaries. Really important you do that when you are in a parenting, co-parenting relationship. How can you be the best parents living separately? You've got to be civil to one another, and you've got to stop blaming him, take responsibility through your own wounded past or through his own wounded past. You both came together, bang, and wonder why you came together. What could you learn by this? What value can you take from this? And it's a really valuable thing to look at. All relationships are fated. They're all spiritual connections. So they're here to teach you something about yourself so you can evolve in this life. So what did you learn about yourself? And then forgiveness. Okay, so there'll be another video on this channel about how to forgive yourself so that you can move on. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you do need help, for goodness sake, reach out to somebody or me and book yourself in. Get support. You're a beautiful woman who deserves a lot better, and so does your child or children. Much love to you.